So this is my conspiracy theory. In other words, translating into normal English, things that I suspect are happening. And I'm basing this on people that I talk with in the AAA industry and people that I speak with from behind the scenes. And the reason that Go Woke, Go Broke exists, it's not necessarily due to the fact that you can't make a woke story or you can't make a woke game that would also be entertaining. I mean, the communists have made a lot of propaganda in their art, and a lot of it was also good. Like, just because something is trying to push a political message, that does not necessarily mean that the art needs to be bad. There are communist statues, communist songs. You also have communist movies, communist literature that was done in the Soviet Union or East Germany. And a lot of it is good. Like, you listen to it and the music is great. You know, you can't really complain. You can say, well, yeah, I don't agree with the message, but it sounds okay, right? However, when it comes to modern left-leaning American people, or aka woke, the Baituo, as the Chinese call them, they seem that time and time again they cannot manage to create anything good. So, the main reason for this happening, I believe, is that once you have like a group of woke people in a company, and it doesn't even take that much, it's probably like 9% of them, they're going to try to do everything in their power to fire everyone that disagrees with them. And you don't really have to disagree with them a lot. You have to disagree with them a little bit. Because from my lived experiences, what I noticed is that I can have friends with a multitude of people. Like, I can be friends with Muslims, I can be friends with hardcore Christians, I can be friends with atheists, people on the far right, the center left. Like, it doesn't matter. The only type of people that I genuinely cannot be friends with are people that are radical leftists. Like, modern day radical American leftists. And it's usually like the foot soldiers, because if it's an academic professor, like it was with Christy Winters, I can actually have a conversation with her that's pleasant. And the reason is simple, right? Like usually with everyone else in the world, you kind of know, like, what are the things that they don't like you to talk about, so you avoid those topics. And by avoiding those topics, you can still have a conversation with someone like they're a normal human being. But with the people on the far left, like, I don't know what it is. It's like a fucking switch. And if you flip it, it doesn't really matter, like, how you try to tiptoe around the issues, like how much you try to avoid. But the moment, like, you just flip that switch, they turn from a nice, loving, and caring person into a hateful bigot. Like, they will just outright despise you. And it's not just that they don't want to talk to you. They will go out of their way in order to try to ruin you, to make you suffer. They will try to shut down your social media account. They will try to get you fired, right? Now, imagine being in an environment where you have to work with these individuals. And when you upset them, and again, like, anything can trigger them, like whether it's a joke, whether it's a metaphor, whether you call them my esteemed colleague, or whatever, right? Like, you did something wrong. You play that Hogwarts wizard game. Like, something just bizarre. You have, like, the wrong haircut. You wear the wrong hat. Like something that just upsets them. They will go out of their way to go to your social media and find something offensive so that they go to HR and get you fired. And this is why Go Woke, Go Broke becomes the thing. Is like, you can't fucking work in the office under that level of stress. Like, if you're a creative person, if you're someone that actually tries to, you know, make something good, you're going to need to have, like, peace and quiet. You're going to need to be able to focus on your task rather than, like, oh my god, like, my colleagues are so hyper mega sensitive that anything I do can upset them, right? So when you live in that place where, like, any joke can get you fired, then anything that you say, your private messages are constantly monitored, you cannot work like that. So most of these people are going to just quit by themselves, right? Like, this is why Naughty Dog had such a high turnover. One of the reasons is the corporate culture, the environment that these individuals create for the average person. And it's not even for the average person, like, leftists create this environment for themselves as well. Like, I know people who used to be into social justice, like, really hard, and then you talk with them after they left social justice, and they will flat out tell you this. Like, they will say it's like, well, the worst thing that they were having was being amongst other social justice-oriented people. Like, at least when they were around right-wingers, they felt that they have power and they were looking for things to be offended. But when they were with other social justice activists, they were afraid that they may offend one of the others, right? So they probably felt the same about them. It's horrible. But my point is that when you have this type of culture, like eventually most people that are talented will quit. And then they will start like trying to get each other fired. And it's usually the people that are the most talented, the ones that don't care about woke ideology, because the person that's talented doesn't have time to learn, oh, now there's a new zur, her pronoun on the list that I need to remember. No, like they're going to be like, okay, which Photoshop techniques must I use? Like, let me keep myself up to date with the new animation techniques so that I can do a good job, right? Like that's what's in their head. They're not thinking it's like, oh my god, like cultural appropriation is if I wear dreads as a white person and I don't have like the correct skin color and heritage. So these individuals end up getting fired and sacked from these companies, right? And eventually what it ends up happening is that you have the company name, like Larian Studios or whatever, and you have like the IP, Baldur's Gate, but you don't have any of the people that worked on it to make it good. And it's the people that make the product. Like, the name is just there, you know? It's just a couple of letters on a logo. It doesn't mean anything. Same with the IP. Like it's the people that are creating that. Like, you can't have, like, Shakespearean play without fucking Shakespeare. You know, it's still, you can still write, like, Shakespearean plays with the same characters and whatnot, but it's not going to be the same, is it? So in the case of Baldur's Gate, like, what I noticed is that when it initially came out, it was a very good game. Like, unironically, like, I played it, I was like, dude, I can't complain about this. This is perfect, right? And it was early access, and once people started buying it, then the woke shit came in. Like you noticed, like, with the first character that they introduced, like, they were starting pouring the wokeness in it. And I was like, even if you ignore the story, and you don't mind it, you're going to see that the game is going to suffer from bugs, it's going to suffer from other issues, because, like, they are going to get rid of their talent. And fucking hell, I was right. Act 1 and Act 2 in Baldur's Gate are absolutely amazing. However, when you get to Act 3, you notice all the problems starting to come in. And it's not even that. Some of the characters that they added later on, they're cringe as fuck. Because again, like, they're written by social justice activists. So, my take is that you're going to have a really bad Baldur's Gate 4. Like, when the Baldur's Gate 4 game comes out, I do not have high hopes from it. At best, it's going to be mediocre. At worst, it's going to be bad. But again, you know, it remains to be seen. However, I do doubt that you can make a good game like Baldur's Gate 3 if you're going to replace most of the team, which is pretty much what is happening here. Apparently, like, due to the layoffs, most of the people that are still there are completely new faces. So let me know what you guys think. And as usual, I will see you in the comment section. Take care.